the Kitsilano Showboat in this evening's recognition of National Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm Barry Lineback, president of the Kitsilano Showboat Society, and on behalf of all the volunteers at Showboat, I would like to welcome you to our 2021 season. Due to COVID, we are presenting the show virtually for your viewing pleasure. I would like to start by saying we are honored by the support of the Canadian government and all our community supporters and sponsors who, through the years, have donated generously to help keep Showboat afloat so we can continue the tradition of community programming on a community stage. If you are interested in helping to keep Showboat full speed ahead, please donate generously and help ensure that we will be back on our iconic stage at Kits Beach in 2022. And for those who do donate, at the end of our 2021 season, we have a random draw from all the names that donated during our virtual season for an awesome prize donated by the Pinnacle Harbourfront Hotel, Vancouver. It's for an overnight stay with complimentary breakfast the next day. This, believe me, is a great, great prize. Please share this with your friends and invite them to like Kitsilano Showboat on Facebook. No one will want to miss out on the great program we have lined up for you this year. Tonight's presentation is in recognition of National Indigenous Peoples Day. We would like to acknowledge that the land on which Showboat takes place is the unceded shared traditional territories of the Coast Salish Peoples, including the territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. All of us in the Kitsilano Showboat community send our love, our thoughts, and our prayers to the families affected by the tragic events in Kamloops. Bringing awareness to this dark chapter of Canadian history is difficult for all, but it's necessary in order to begin the healing. Our presentation this evening is a special tribute. We take you on a journey of the First Nations with special dance presentations from the Spakwus Solem, or as known as Eagle Song Dancers, a presentation of the rich history of Kitsilano and the teachings of the Squamish Nations. Watch as the history and teachings of the Squamish Nations come alive in this extraordinary presentation. You will love it. I would like to thank the Honorable Joyce Murray for her support. We gratefully recognize Minister Murray and the federal government funding to enable us to celebrate National Indigenous People Day, Multicultural Day, and Canada Day. And now I am proud to introduce the Honorable Minister Joyce Murray.
Thank you, Barry Lineback, for inviting me to be part of the Kitsilano Showboat virtual performance on National Indigenous Peoples Day. It's an honor to be speaking to your guests from where I stand on the traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. I commend the Kitsilano Showboat board and staff for keeping the show going with virtual performances in this, your 86th year, and the second, and I sincerely hope the last year of the COVID-19 pandemic. National Peoples Day this year carries for many non-Indigenous people a much greater awareness of the terrible cost of colonialism on the First Peoples of this land. The unmarked graves on the grounds of the Kamloops Residential School and the terrible tragedy for parents and communities of not knowing what happened to their children is a trauma that has saddened and moved us all. As we reflect today and in the weeks and months ahead on the legacy of residential schools and on other aspects of Indigenous experience, let us recommit ourselves and our country to reconciliation and to building a new relationship of respect, partnership, and friendship together. One way that non-Indigenous peoples can do that is to learn more about Indigenous cultures, their religions, governance, knowledge, languages, and art. I am committing this month to read 3 books written by Indigenous authors. Their stories, truths may be difficult, but they are deepening my appreciation of Indigenous storytellers and my understanding of what the shared journey of reconciliation requires of us each day. And in the same way, while Indigenous Peoples Day is a special day to reflect on and appreciate the Indigenous peoples of this land, and in particular the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples here in Vancouver, we can carry this appreciation with us every single day. Thank you again for the opportunity to be part of this very special event.
For generations beyond remembering, the Longhouse has stood at the center of our lives. Here we have marked the most important occasion of our history: birth, death, weddings, and coronations, and all manner of debate and decision-making. For the Longhouse is our place of power, our parliament, our town hall, our Supreme Court. Yet, it is so much more than this. The Longhouse is our very heart. From the Salish of the Puget Sound to the Haida of Mears Island, the culture of our people has risen here. For centuries our drumming and dancing has shook the ground beneath these walls, and our stories and songs have echoed up to the heavens. Our songs and dances are the joyful proclamation of who we are, our connection with each other, and our bond with this earth. Our stories touch our souls. They remind us of where we have been and point the way to the path that lies ahead. The spirit of the Longhouse is one of rejoicing, and it is for celebration that you are welcomed here tonight. The spirit of the Longhouse is alive. The spirit of the Longhouse welcomes you.
Musqueam, xʷməthkwəy, tan kushaman sa apalak stomach sna, lanakila kanaka sna, anhat, tamakwitsi. Welcoming you here today on behalf of our families from the Squamish, Selilwitulh, and Musqueam families. I am Sa'apalak, Lanakila, welcoming you here in a traditional fashion to this area that we've been calling home for over 13,000 years, to our culture, tradition, and our protocol, which dictates how we should welcome and how we should host families that are visiting us. We'd like to go through some of the songs and some of the protocol with you, beginning with our chiach, beginning with our protocol. Chiach translates to law. It translates to respect, translates to that road that was put in front of us by our ancestors. When we do our presentations, we do them as if you're visiting our longhouse, as if you're getting into our canoe and traveling with us, so that we can guarantee that it's going to be a successful journey. So we begin with a song that comes from one of our lady ancestors, a song that is known as Snowbird or Tum Tum Slolem. And it is a song that is designed to neutralize any heaviness, any negativity, so that we can clear the air, clear the area, clear the slate, so that we can begin together in a good way. When you see the ladies when they're moving their hands and sweeping the cedar boughs, their intentions are to clean up anything that's not supposed to be there, any negativity, any heaviness. So once we've covered that, we ask one of the spirits of the animal kingdom to assist us, to support us. In this case, we're asking Spakwus, the eagle. Eskakta Spakwus is a song that we call, in the English language, gathering of eagles. When the eagles come together, they are sharing medicine, they are sharing companionship, they're sharing friendship, they're sharing information. As in this territory, along the Squamish River during the fishing season, when the salmon are running, there's thousands upon thousands of salmon, and what they do is when the salmon are finished their spawning and finished their journey, we say the table's set. So the eagles come from all over North America and they gather along the Squamish River. So to us it's like a huge potlatch, and the Squamish are coming together.
Here, friends, within this hall of earth and cedar, we sit warm and contented, yet the vastness of nature surrounds us. Endless churning sea, lonely mountains touching the sky, forests, dark and foreboding. What place do men and women have in this awesome world? Tiny creatures are we, so frail when set against the forces of nature. We are terrified when the sea rises and the winds and water rip through our villages. We are humbled when the mountains tremble and stone and earth roll towards us. We are helpless when lightning transforms the forest into an all-consuming inferno. This giving earth provides us with our harvests and our wealth, can so quickly show her darker aspect. So we choose to respect her, to live in harmony with her, for we are her children. Raven, bear, and eagle are our brothers. And we call upon the spirits of our brothers, of our mother, the earth, to provide for our survival and to protect us. We invite the spirits to bless our gatherings. We entreat them to take their place amongst us, here, in the sacred longhouse.
No hats Molly, Richard Gwyeth went to Thomas, to Tsleil-Waututh, Tsleil-Waututh, to no hats Molly. Richard Jawad, Yawad no metal, Tastima, Tastomo. Richard Jawad to Moshe, Gwyeth went to Moshe, to Exwat, Tower, Squamish Nation, Richard Gwyeth went. Chris nana mate was nana mate the sweet as Babiak. Na it's in one nana the hack heartless. Come I chuan chuman. Chris was up heart, just him was. Amen. It's just what Uncle Louis told me about the smokehouses. Yeah, I was with Lois. We sat down there, and he told us a lot of things, you know, about sewing, shakers, you name it. He had lots to tell us about that. But what stuck in my mind was the smokehouse. They had lots of those smokehouses, eh? She knows some of them they belong to, but I remember he told me that Tsleil-Waututh must have been the first one to have a smokehouse there, because his was just the bottom, like left, eh? And all the others were still, of course, you know, they were losing some of the walls and things, but they were still standing up. And this was the only one. He said that was real old. He says Tsleil-Waututh is a smokehouse.
My mother told me that that her grandmother from Nanaimo, Holanamet, and her husband, Tsleil-Waututh, they used to paddle from Nanaimo to Snauk in the winter months for potlatch. And they would bring 3 or 4 big canoes, which would be 3 or 4 families. And I asked them about there would be as many as 15 to 20 in a canoe. Those families would come over to Snauk for potlatch. And they would stay several days for the potlatch. And the last potlatch house that I know of there at Snauk was Musqueam, and his brother-in-law had a house there. My great-granduncle, Kitsilano Showboat, he saw that big house. He was in that big house. So that would be around the late 1800s. It was still standing. When the Hudson Bay Company arrived here at Fort Langley, and they camped on the south shore, and the Squamish were going up the river, and they camped on the north shore at Langley. And it was reported then that by Hudson Bay Company that there were 200 canoes going from Squamish going up the river fishing. Well, in our research, Squamish research, we had gone as far back in time as we could find out as to what evidence is available in written form. Well, we had found out that the Europeans to come into this area were the Spaniards. The Spaniards had written in their journals that they met Kitsilano here at xʷməthkwəy. And there's a river here today. It's called the Kitsilano River. And this is where the Spaniards had said that Kitsilano had lived on a ranchero here.
The issue that's been addressed to me today is I guess the area concerning the Kitsilano Reserve, which is identified on the maps, one of the Squamish Nation's reserves. Our people lived there, and there were established longhouses that were in disrepair, that had fallen down, that were trees and posts that were overgrown. Even in 1850, when the reserves were being established, there was a row of longhouses that were already there at Snauk. And the reason why I guess the white man called the reserve Kitsilano was because that was the chief's name at that time. In 1820, the first contact, the guy's name was Kitsilano, and that was Chipkhaim's great-grandfather. The chiefs that did rule as a, I guess you call it, representative talking for the people on that reserve, they were Squamish chiefs, and the people that were there prior to contact with the white man were the ancestors of these chiefs that represented the people on that reserve. The cross-section of people that did live there because of the resources, the wildfowl, the sea life, the fish, the shellfish, the sturgeon, freshwater fish, as well as deer and elk at that time in the mid-1800s when the reserve was established. It was the most advantage for them to live there rather than live in other areas of the territory.
And we found out that by our research that there was a conspiracy between the city, the province, and the federal government to get our people to sell that land.
On the day that they actually were to be moved, they were told they would only be able to take as much as they could carry, and they had a tent set up with a guy with the books that they did not give them all money. They gave them account books as well as a certain amount of money up front, and they put them on the barge, and everyone that came on the barge was given a book with the amount of money that was paid to each family. It was just the head of each family that was paid. And what happened was the guys that were paid were not allowed to get back off the barge. They were told to move onto the side. And there was only, I think, 23 heads of families that were paid at that time. The natives then were pulled out into English Bay and set adrift. And at that same time, a policeman from the province was put on the reserve to keep people from going back there. And part of the job of the people that were there, that were having the Indians removed, they burnt every house on the reserve, so the Indians would not be able to go back. And at that time, that judge as well advised them that if they ever did go back, they would be thrown in jail. There was a agreed out-of-court settlement for the Crown to not have been found doing things illegally, kind of thing. So the arrangement had been undertaken and arranged by Chief xʷməthkwəy prior to his passing. So his views were respected. One of our greatest minds that we ever had in our whole tribe. It would be a great thing if we could have some of our people acknowledged that lived and were born there, as well as the descendants could at least have fresh memories of people that were there and did come from that place in our territory.
This totem pole is a strong symbol figure of a grandfather welcome totem pole. This totem pole is to be made for our ancestors from this area of Kitsilano. The village where I stand right now was called the village of Snuck. And the reason why we're raising this totem pole is for our ancestry.
It's a great thing that we could put it up and have permanent structure or a memoriam honoring those that were there and those people that survived those experiences.
There was a lot of hard feelings in those days because just certain ones got money. It wasn't much. I think it was 10,000 each. I'm not sure though. But there was a lot of people that were hurt by that. Why only a few would get the money, eh? So that's why they had that amalgamation.
The welcome figure is, to me, is a reminder to others who don't know our culture and our history. It's a reminder that we welcome people to our shores and our houses.
And Spakwus Solem, Tane Mastamo, and Spakwus Solem, Tane Mastamo. Oh no Male, Cheshasta Chelsea, and Spakwus Solem, Tane Mastamo, and Spakwus Solem, Tane Mastamo.
And it's amazing that we live, the Squamish people live within the third largest city in the country. And we've survived. And we will survive for hundreds of years.
Musqueam, Haichka, Anhat, Tamakwitsi. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation, to watch our dances. We wish you a safe journey, wish you good health. Musqueam, Anhat, Haichka.
what did I tell you? What an amazing journey this has been. I would like to give a special thank you to Bob Baker and the Eagle Song Mass Dancers for sharing their dance, traditional songs, and teachings with us. I would also like to recognize the many volunteers who helped in this evening's presentation. And finally, I would really like to give my appreciation and thanks to Branded Experience and my friend Richard Lowy for donating his time and to create and produce this evening's extraordinary video performance. We look forward to welcoming you back to the Showboat stage in Kitsilano, and until then, stay safe.